Hello and welcome to Tea and Cornbread, a conversation with Sean and Tracy. I am Sean.
And I'm Tracy.
And we are talking to you all that are 50 and fabulous.
And don't forget handsome.
And we want you to know that we want to get some education happening, some empowerment.
We want to grow with you. We want to learn with you. We want to see what you're doing, 50 and over.
So like, share, comment, follow, subscribe,
grab your
and
tea.
grab your tea.
Farm. So with us starting was number one, better food for me and my kids. And farming for me just started off as helping me with my PTSD, managing that from being in the military. And then it just grew into the business part of it. Farming just became part of what I love to do and just kept doing it from there.
All right. I started as a child just growing plants in the front yard with my grandmother, and upon leaving the corporate world, just wanted to do something that I love to do, that I had fun doing, and figured out a way to get paid for it. So it just turned into providing better options and better food nutrition for the community, and also getting just paid to do what I love to do.
Hi, I've been teaching cooking and nutrition at Naugatuck Valley for 35 years, and good health starts with knowing how to cook, how to buy food, and most people don't know how. We're used to American portions, big plates full of meat and no vegetables, and I'd like to see that changed, and I think teaching people how to cook is the way to start.
Cool. So I originally spent a lot of time in New York after leaving Jamaica and from New York, the Bronx, and so nothing was going on. I was looking for like some business opportunity or just to move. The expense was just crazy down there, and so came to Waterbury. I see a lot of blighted lot and didn't know back in like 2010, and so wanted to make a difference, and so we decided that this lot could transform into some urban farm, and so I started to investigate that, and then the neighborhood association and the different community members decided that we could use the lot to grow on, and then we started growing on the lot, and eventually we started to find out that youth were interested, and then we changed our organization into a non-profit and started bringing youth from ages 14 to 18 and pay them to do urban agriculture. We train them how to do everything in the garden, from putting up greenhouse, irrigation, grow beds, fertilizing, weeding. So it's just an exciting time, and that's how I really got into gardening.
I got into gardening at a real young age. I was born in Jamaica, where we have a saying, let your food be a medicine. So I've been trying to keep that consistent throughout life in general. My grandmother passed away, and she was the one that taught me to do farming in general or growing plants. So I wanted to do something that connected me with her, and it also helped me feed the community at the same time. So it just lined up.
Driving all around the city, trying to get everything harvested within a few hours before the market or even the day before was definitely a huge challenge, until we were able to get everything consolidated on one plot of land.
I would think for me with my situation is different because I own my own land, is zoning. Getting the city involved in everything that we have to do in order to start the farm up. It's a huge initial cost just getting through the zoning portion of changing my land from residential to agriculture to be able to farm it correctly. So a lot of the times it's not so much of people not having the passion to do it, it's the permission to do it. So the city gets heavily involved in what you do, down to the point of how are you handling your runoff, and if you got animals, how are you handling the manure, and how do you then their neighbors get to chime in on whether they want a farm in their community or not. So it's really, that's the biggest part of urban farming, is just dealing with the regulations and the zoning problems.
Well, farming for me is really about legacy. And so I want to pass down to the next generation what it is to start growing their own food. And so the challenge that comes here for me is that I'm a non-profit organization, and I do believe in paying the youth to teach them to learn to earn. And that's what the name of our program, learn to earn. And they come in and they learn to farm, but we have kids from all over who want to join the program, but we don't have enough funding to keep that, to bring in as much kids as we would like to. And so that becomes a really big challenge for me. And when funding is getting low, then you're kind of in a position where you want to panic. So, but that's the challenge for us as an organization.
I hate to do this, but I have to say no. A lot of people see things as challenges. I see them as a challenge as well, but as soon as you overcome them, I tend to forget about them, so no.
All right. The next question. Food apartheid accurately describes the racist and oppressive system that create inequitable food environments. What role does urban gardening play in creating a space for promoting food justice and food security?
Urban farming does a lot for that. In general, I could speak for an example. The whole community comes out and can get a nutritional factor that we all need in the community. A lot of people, we're lacking nutrition in the neighborhood, so if you're able to be the person where people can get the nutrition, which will change your whole mindset, which will change your own body as well, you're helping a lot. You're like the magician or the warlock of the neighborhood, helping everyone else out. I feel like if multiple people were to grow different products right next to each other, you could never really go hungry at all. So I could grow like lettuce, you could grow tomato, and we could all have a salad together. Yeah.
Yeah, in my observation is that culturally, we have moved away from what it is like to really have fresh vegetable on your tray, like in the house. Like culturally, like we move away from that to a point where kids don't want to participate in eating vegetables. Like it's a no now for youth, and I feel like we need to rebuild that culture, because if we don't bring that excitement back around what it is to really eat fresh fruits and vegetable, we are going to just keep just straying away from the fundamentals. So, and that really has to start from like in the school, and that's why we start participating like local on your tray or farm to school, where farm to schools are engaging farmers to bring fresh fruits and vegetables back into the schools, and so that we could rebuild a culture around it. And that's really my goal when I work with youth in the community, is to rebuild a culture, because sometimes we may grow something, but still we don't have people eating as much as fresh fruits and vegetables as we would want them to. So it's really rebuilding the culture for me.
Yeah, I think it's an accessibility issue also, because if you don't have a car and you're spending money on a taxi, it eats into your budget. So if you had urban gardens everywhere, people could walk to their food sources and not be so dependent on supermarkets.
Yeah, I would have to agree with the accessibility of it. It keeps the local produce right there for you, and not just being able to, like she stated, walking to your grocery store in a sense, but along with the produce itself being grown within the communities, it's grown by people from the communities, so it's all culturally relevant produce as well. So to piggyback off of what Greg said, it's not just getting back to culturally having those fresh fruits and produce on your table, but it is those fruits and produce that, may be from whatever country that you came from.
I think it's not so much of a racial issue, but more of an economic issue, because people don't have a lot of money. And even though they're buying from farms or things like that, people want quantity over quality. because they don't have a lot of money. So they want more bang for their buck. So if they have something cheaper that they can get more of it, that's what they're going to gravitate towards because that's what they can afford. So it doesn't, which is why it doesn't really make sense to where people can get a 2-liter soda cheaper than you can get a bottle of water. You need water to make soda. So how is the soda cheaper than water? It goes to quantity.
Next question. If you had
berries so that we could have a quicker turnaround in producing vegetables, which, like turn around like every 2 weeks, we could turn around fresh vegetable in our neighborhood and be able to employ more people and, especially youth, that they will get involved so much because then they are the ones who's going to pass on that legacy to the next generation.
I'd like to see a head of broccoli cost less than a case of ramen noodles. Make vegetables affordable, subsidize them instead of subsidizing the corporate farmers for wheat, soy, and corn.
Yeah, if money was no option, similar to what Greg said, I would just create a space where it would be both, not just indoor growing with the hydroponics, but as well as outdoor growing as well, to be able to educate the community on how to grow their own food, but also as well be able to have enough produce to just grow it and give it away.
I would say to where with all of the vacant lots that we have here in Waterbury or all of the dilapidated properties, I would just take every vacant lot and turn it into a community garden. And every neighborhood would have basically their own supermarket that they can just pick from. So if you have all of these vacant lots going up and down North Main Street, you can grow more food than what Stop and Shop has. Just turn what you already have into a positive instead of a negative. Instead of having it being a blotted property or a blighted property, you can have a community garden there, whether it's botanical for people to go and relax or a vegetable garden. We got more than enough vacant properties that can feed the entire north end of Waterbury.
I feel the same exact way. I feel the same exact way as Hodges at the end of the day. I feel like a lot of abandoned houses could be turned into growing houses. I feel like a lot of abandoned lots can be turned into growing lots. And with that being said, it's going to be continuous food in the neighborhood. There's no bound for any laws or no bound for anyone to go have to travel all the way to a supermarket when everything is right there by your footstep.
Next question. Tell the people something that they could do in Waterbury to help eliminate food insecurities. We'll start with you, sir.
Put a plant in the ground. Just grow something, anything. If you don't have any yard space, you can grow something in a pot. You grow it on a balcony, windowsill, whatever it may be, whether it's a fruit, a vegetable, herb, anything at all. Or if you have no space, you have no skills, no confidence or anything like that, find a neighbor who does build some type of community that revolves around the food system, whether it be producing it or cooking it, or even if you just get in contact with the farmer and you provide them, with vegetable scraps for compost or to subsidize any type of animal feed or anything like that. But just to get involved in the food system in any way, shape, or possible. Just because if a farmer doesn't work, nobody eats, literally. So just to get involved anyhow.
I would say for people take better care of their grass than they do anything else, and grass has no nutritional purpose. So get rid of your front lawn or your back lawn and start growing your own garden. People complain about how high, in my neighborhood, people come by the farm all the time, complain about how high it costs for food and vegetables, but they spend twice as much money on fertilizing their lawn, which they can't eat. So that makes no sense to me.
And all that lawn fertilizer pollutes your local water systems as well. So
Eat more carrots. Carrots are great for you and they don't cost a lot. It's learning the value of the food you're eating. Go back to basics.
Yeah, I totally agree that with Sean and Ajit that we need to get plugged in. Get your family involved, get your kids involved. Plan something. Start to build an excitement around fresh food and vegetable again. Let that become something exciting, especially with the youth. Let that become something exciting. The kids get excited about anything that is popular. So let's make eating fresh fruits and vegetables popular again so that they will be so involved.
Well, they always say each one teach one, so I will just say slowly start getting educated about how to grow, volunteer at a farm. Most farms, they need help anyway. As you go there and volunteer, just ask to learn something, how to put a seed in the ground properly, how does it grow. You take that knowledge to your family, that family member may take it to someone else and let that continuously grow like that. Yeah.
We appreciate you, each and every one of you, for educating myself and everybody that's out here. Anybody have any questions that we didn't cover? Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Anything for anyone on our panel that they want to ask?
Actually, yeah. Hi, how's it going? Yeah, so my question is, so like when you go to Home Depot or any, like even the garden section at Walmart, how can people be able to afford like the different seeds or know what, like if you want to plant an orange tree or an apple tree, like where to find the seeds and how to be able to plant it, to like properly take care of it so the fruits and vegetables could come out properly.
Anyone want to take that? It's open.
Seeds for certain people that can't afford them. While we started the business was by using EBT card. You can literally go to like a Stop and Shop or a Home Depot or whatever it may be and buy those seeds with your EBT card because it is considered food.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
Thank you. I didn't know that. He said you can use your card, your EBT card, to buy seeds. It's considered food. So, for those that didn't know, like me, now you know.
I would say the most important thing before you start buying the seeds is know what region you live in. All seeds don't grow in every region. So we're in region 6B. You have to know where you live so that you can know what seeds to grow and what season to grow in. You're not going to sit there and plant tomato seeds in the middle of March because you're just going to die. That's when you start planting your spinaches, your leafy green vegetables, your radishes. So you have to know what season you're in and what's going to grow within that season. Everything doesn't grow all year round and everything doesn't grow in every region. So just know what region you're in. That way you can look to see what type of seeds you want to grow.
And where do you get that information? Where do you find, like...
1 second. I don't think they can hear you.
Just going off with your response, I just wanted to know, where do you get that information? Is there a section or a website that we can go on and learn what region we are and what seasons are, I don't know, yeah.
Most of that information is right on the back of the packet. So when you turn the seeds around, it'll have a picture of the map. It'll be color coordinated by what seed, where you can grow, and on the bottom of it, it'll tell you in what months to plant that. In most seed packages, you have two seasons. You'll have, especially if you're going to do your leafy green vegetables, you'll have your spring season and you'll have your fall season because those are what we consider cold weather crops. They like the coolness. They don't like the heat. They'll bolt during the summertime. So if you just turn the packet around, it'll tell you exactly when to grow it and the spacing and all of the information you need for that particular vegetable.
Sean, did you want to add something to that?
No, I was just going to say the same thing that Anthony said, is all the information is on the back of the packets, and most of these big box stores, they have, from what I've seen, gotten a little bit better, is they'll put out a certain group of seeds, both flowers or vegetables, during that time of season. So in, like mid to late March and April, you'll see like the cold weather crops as far as all of those seeds, where you won't see tomato seeds, where in maybe like May or June, you'll start seeing those seeds available in the stores as well. And also you can always just tap in with any of your local farmers and they'll be able to assist you with any of that as well too.
Yeah.
There's something that you can always use like a cheat code, some old like, cause we tell you the zone that we're in, but you're probably in a different neighborhood. So like the Farmer's Almanac, you just type in your zip code and it'll tell you exactly what zone you're in. Or if you're in Connecticut, there's something called Ladybug from the Yukon extension. So you just type in Ladybug Yukon, it'll tell you all the crops that you can grow, the flowers and stuff like that, blah, 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 blah.
Thank you. Any more questions? Okay.
I apologize if you guys already answered this, but for somebody who's not trying to do it for profit, how would I start? Is there a way I can like meet with you guys or something like that? Is there groups where we could do it if you're just trying to do it to feed your own family?
Good question. And it's up for anybody to answer. We can pass it down. Everybody could.
Yeah, my farm is, like I said, located 131 Montour Road.
I just learned that today.
Yeah, so, yeah, we're like our panel here, we're probably like the only farmers here in Waterbury. But I have people come by all the time. I'm home most of the time working on my farm because I got animals as well. So we raise sheep, we raise goats, rabbits, turkeys, ducks, chickens, we raise it all. And we do full vegetables. So we have people come by all the time. I stop what I'm doing, answer any questions, give free farm tours. So if you got any questions, you can just swing by and be like, hey, how do I get started? We'll sit down and go through that process on what you can do to get started in your own backyard. My goal for my farm is to be put out of business.
Do you guys have websites where you can get in contact?
My number is 203.
I'm gonna get it off this line.
Yeah, it's 203-528-2707, and we have a website, HodgesFamilyFarm.llc, and I work with anybody. I don't have a staff; it's just me. So, yeah, you come up, I'm stopping. I don't care.
You can always reach us at parkcityharvest.com. It's myself and Rich, and same exact thing. We'll be able to help you out in any way that we can.
And I'll return the paper.
Yeah, and the most important thing is, like I said, just to put a plan in the ground. The best way to start is just to put something in there. I've probably over the years learned more by messing up and killing plants than anything else. Just because, like Rich was saying, we're in Bridgeport, so our climate is completely different than even the climate out here. So I'll plant a set of vegetables out here at a different time than I would down in Bridgeport, and vice versa as far as even the care and taking care of them, the time of day that I water, fertilize, everything is different. So each location has its own microclimate, but for the most part, as long as your soil is good, the plant will do whatever it's supposed to do on its own.
Anyone else? Thank you.
For me at Urban Fresh Gardens, we take volunteers in. We have a youth program like from 5 to 7, 2 hours. The kids come in every evening, so they're coming in to learn how to build your own garden beds, how to build a greenhouse, how to set up your own irrigation, build a rabbit hutch. We're gonna put in rabbits just for fertilizing. We have our own like nursery, starting out the plants. Like where do you start? Like in your cooler season, in the spring, starting in the nursery, and then after taking stuff from the nursery and bringing it up. So we have like this whole system that we have, washing the vegetable, packaging them and stuff like that. So we really kind of try to teach them from start to finish process, and as much as we can put into what surround agriculture, we just keep researching and putting in new stuff because there is so much you could do.
There's a website called Garden Know-How. You can reach out to us on our social media, park.city.harvest.llc. We also have a book teaching people how to grow and how to cook the stuff that you grow. We also have a Patreon where you can go and learn how to farm on a budget. So Loyal to the Soil on Patreon, definitely.
Thank you.
Okay, I think I have time for one more question, and then we'll be wrapping it up.
Well, actually, yes, and I believe this is the best question. So like if you know you have to go to school for almost everything you do, you need a degree for this, for that. So if someone wants to become an actual farmer, certified through the state of Connecticut, so we can work in Bridgeport, in New Haven, Hartford, anywhere. So how would we go about like taking farming classes to actually become an actual certified farmer, to where we could actually open our own farm in the future? So we could reach out to other places that may not have available resources, depending on your location.
You do and you don't have to go to school for everything. Anthony here and Greg here, as far as I know, they didn't go to school to become farmers. Anthony kind of just jumped into it and figured everything out on his own through YouTube. Rich and myself, we learned everything that we knew about farming and being farmers just from doing it as kids, from 7 years old till now. But what we did do is we actually went to Naugatuck Valley Community College, and we got our horticulture degree. So if anybody did want to look at any formal classes for any type of information or education or anything like that, that's the route that I would say to go, is to go, seek after a horticulture certification or a degree.
Like I said, if you have a passion to do it, school is not a barrier to get into it. I didn't go to any, like he said, I learned everything on YouTube. So they teach you everything for free. So at that point is just going through the different stations, learning what you want to learn. And like he said, trial and error. Everything that you see on YouTube is not necessarily for our region. So you really got to go through all of the information, apply what applies here, and then just discard the rest. I would say one of the biggest things right now, this is the fall season. Everybody picks up their leaves, and bag them and, throw them out. For us, leaves is fertilizer. We take all of the leaves, mulch them all up, put them in the corner and let them compost down, and that's next year's soil that we use. So we don't use commercial fertilizers. So it's just learning all of those little tricks, that we use to keep our business running for basically almost free. So if you're interested in doing it, get your neighbor's leaves and get your lawnmower, run it over with the lawnmower a couple of times, put it in a corner, and then in the spring you have fresh soil, fresh compost. You don't have to go to Home Depot and buy soil anymore.
So yeah, and to answer some of the questions, like, so when we started, we officially went through the ropes to incorporate the business and everything, and then we go through Department of Ag, and they really put their stamp on, what you're growing. They come and check your soil. They can, come and see what you're doing. So it's not really, an educational thing, which will, put a barrier between you becoming a farmer, but you just could surround yourself around different groups, such as we are part of the BIPAC group, and there's constant training going on, and different farmers having different ideas of how something happened, because no one person know how to do one thing. Even sometimes you go to school, you look at another farmer doing something else, and you're like, wow, that's different. I could take that and implement it in my garden or into my farm. So those are not really barriers, but you can go through Department of Ag, because they are really supportive with grants and loans and give you a lot of guidance to, improve your business if you want to go that way.
We just want to say thank you to each and every panel member. Thank you for answering our questions on behalf of the North End Co-op Market First Fall Harvest. Thank you.